You're ready for a comeback. And with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. It's time, your time, not just to go back to school, but to come back and move forward with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
She's seen Encanto more times than she can count. And she can count to 10. She mentioned Mirabel in every conversation. But the moment she actually met Mirabel, she was speechless. That's pura magia. Find yours at Walt Disney World Resort.
5 years, 10 months, and 2 days. That's how long it took to grow the 38 inches to ride on Cali River Rapids. But the moment the wait finally ended, that was pura magia. Discover it at Walt Disney World Resort.
Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about go-getters, women who purposefully, or sometimes accidentally, acquired life-changing wealth, good fortune, or influence. Today we're talking about a woman who shocked historians with the wealth and independence she wielded as a businesswoman in 11th century Egypt. Let's talk about Wuhsha, the broker. Wuhsha's story actually starts hundreds of years after her death. In the late 20th century, a scholar from Cambridge University traveled to Cairo to explore a vast trove of documents. It's called the Cairo Geniza, and it consists of holy writings, contracts, court records, and other official documents that a local synagogue preserved for centuries. These documents have helped historians construct a picture of what Jewish society was like during the medieval period in Egypt. And one of the most colorful figures that historians have discovered is Wuhsha the broker. Her name was actually Karima Bat Ammar. Wuhsha is more of a term of endearment. It translates to one without whom one feels lonely. That's how she's mostly referred to in old records and court documents. There's a lot we don't know about Wuhsha, like what year she was born or what her childhood was like. We do know she was the daughter of a banker from Alexandria. We also know that she eventually moved to modern-day Cairo, where she was briefly married to a man from Sicily. The couple had a daughter before divorcing in 1095. The many documents in which Wuhsha's name appear indicate that she was a successful businesswoman. It was not totally uncommon for women to work as brokers or bankers during the era, but the enormous wealth Wuhsha was able to amass as an unmarried woman in the industry was highly unusual. She had investments in various merchant ventures, and she made a lot of money providing loans and retaining collateral. We can also piece together bits and pieces of Wuhsha's personality and place in Jewish society by studying the Cairo Geniza. In one document, she answers a court summons over a small claim a business associate had made against her. Wuhsha waves away the debt, equal to about $20 today. She complains, "What do I owe that he should make such a claim against me? All that is due to him from me is 5 kirats. For 5 kirats he makes such a fuss." Despite her professional prowess, Wuhsha had a complicated personal life. After her divorce, she had an affair with a man named Hassoun. They claimed to be married in a Muslim court, but the couple did not have a union recognized by Jewish court. They also had a son together. There's evidence that Wuhsha went to court to ask a friend for advice about the sticky situation. She was living with Hassoun at the time, but she was worried that someday, when their son was older, he'd be denied the right to marry a Jewish woman if Hassoun denied that he was the father. She needed a way to prove paternity to ensure her son could not be shunned. Her friend suggested that Wuhsha carry out a clever little ruse. She told 2 other friends to show up to her apartment, uninvited. When they arrived, they caught Hassoun living in the same apartment as Wuhsha. Their eyewitness testimony provided the necessary evidence of her son's paternity. Wuhsha's plan had worked, but her extramarital affair with Hassoun did not go totally unpunished. There's another record of Wuhsha visiting a synagogue on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. When the head of the synagogue realized she was there, he publicly shamed her by kicking her out of the temple. Our best evidence of Wuhsha's considerable wealth comes from her will. Historians believe it was written sometime around 1100 CE, when her son was still quite young. The document reveals that by that time in her life, Wuhsha had roughly 700 dinars to her name. For reference, a middle-class family often earned 24 dinars a year. In her will, Wuhsha was very generous with how she portioned out this fortune. She left considerable amounts to close family members, with about half of her assets going to her young son. She laid out plans for his education should she pass away before he reached adulthood. Wuhsha was also very charitable, donating to the poor and even leaving money to the same synagogue she'd been expelled from. Perhaps she felt it was all water under the bridge. Or maybe Wuhsha wanted to have the last word by offering riches she knew the temple would not refuse. She did not leave a penny to her former lover and father of her son, but did choose to forgive the considerable debt he owed her. It seems that Wuhsha was aware of her complicated reputation among Cairo's Jewish population, and that she was interested in leaving behind a strong legacy. Her will also included plans for an expensive and impressive funeral, setting aside much more money for the ceremony than was typical of the period. This ensured she would be properly respected after death for her successes in business. By producing this will, Wuhsha might also have been trying to assert her status while still alive, by cleverly demonstrating the immense wealth she had at her disposal. We don't know exactly when or how Wuhsha died, probably sometime in the early 12th century. However, we can guess that she did manage to cement some semblance of legacy. Many other documents in the Cairo Geniza identify her relatives, even distant ones, through their connection to the famed Wuhsha the broker. All month, we're talking about go-getters. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night, and building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic abuse in their lifetime, and nearly half of survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina started the Purple Leash Project to help eliminate one of the many barriers domestic abuse survivors face: a lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country, so abuse survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to get involved.